Welcome to Radically Word of the Week. My name's Christian, and this week's word is bias to action. A bias to action means a preference for taking a decision and moving forward sooner with the best available information, rather than waiting for all the gaps to be filled in or for extensive analysis. You can conceptualize this as an 80% mentality. If about 80% of your course is known, start moving, and the 20% will probably become clear as you proceed. Focusing on a bias to action can be really useful for organizations and for individuals who are overanalyzing, struggling to make decisions or to determine the best course of action. A really good indicator of this is when things which have already been agreed are then questioned and reworked multiple times, and it seems you're not getting any closer to making a decision. I'm familiar with this because my natural tendency was also to have everything worked out and be very sure before moving ahead. And the power of a bias to action has been one of the big learnings for me over the last few years. Often remaining with the status quo while working out the way forward is considered to be safe or the least risk option. But this is a bit of a mental trick because it's often not actually true. The costs of not acting are sometimes actually very high. For example, how much does it cost an organization every day to continue with a poor quality control system? Or how many high-value employees could you lose while working out a structure for learning and development? Likewise, if you're frequently inspecting and adapting as you proceed, the costs of not getting things quite right the first time can actually be much lower than what you'd expect. Whenever there's a potential course of action that you're not quite sure about, it can be useful to lead off with two questions. The first is, will this cause harm? If there is no foreseeable harm in the decision, question how intensive the analysis process really needs to be. The second has been popularized at Amazon and involves asking if you're making a type 1 or a type 2 decision. Type 1 decisions are very difficult to reverse, such as ending a relationship with a supplier. They usually require a high degree of confidence, and a heavy governance framework might be appropriate. Type 2 decisions are actually much more frequent and are relatively easy to change if you don't like the outcome. Think about trying a new format for a governance meeting or experimenting with different opening hours. These should ideally have a simple and lightweight framework with some clear principles to encourage quick decision making. Having a bias to action and being okay with not knowing everything before proceeding can improve organizational culture by removing some of the fear of messing up or having to get everything right. It also reflects that in many cases, taking the second best alternative is actually still better than doing nothing at all, and reduces decision-making costs by removing heavyweight governance where it's not required. There is also a strong relationship with the principle of consent rather than consensus-based decision-making. Thank you for watching Radically Word of the Week. This week's word has been bias to action.